A terrifying true story, not a tale, but a brutal reality drawn from life. A journey wrapped in tears, love, betrayal, murder, and revenge. A journey that will shake your soul. After hearing this story, you won't remain the same. Welcome to the You vs. You channel. Each story here is not just a tale, they are mirrors of real life. Battles to conquer the demons within, the courage to go beyond your limits. Starting today is a journey that will rattle your soul. It began with love but ended written in blood. It was about 5 years ago. In the very heart of Dhaka city, in a quiet neighborhood, Dhanmondi, there lived Anik and Rema. They met in their first year of university. Something happened at first sight. Their eyes met, and it felt like the whole world came to a standstill. Anik, calm-natured, good at studies, but hiding a volcano inside. Rema, cheerful, lively, but had learned to live with a painful past. Their love was straight out of a movie. On holidays, they'd flip through pages of books, sharing a cup of coffee, sitting hand in hand in a library corner. It was all perfect. But every love story has a twist. And the darkness in this story began the day Rema was whispering on the phone with an unknown guy late at night, in secret. Anik didn't say anything. He just watched. His chest felt heavy. But when you love someone, you trust them, don't you? But when trust and love mix with deception, that's when the most terrifying story begins. One day, out of nowhere, Rema disappeared. Phone switched off. No trace anywhere. Police reports. Frantic searching, but no one knew where Rema was. The investigation continued. 1 month, 2 months, then a year passed. Anik was completely shattered. Friends said, Rema probably ran off with someone. Accept it. But one question remained like a thorn in Anik's heart. Where did she go? Exactly 5 years later, on a rainy night, beside Dhanmondi Lake, an old travel bag was found. When the bag was opened, everyone fell silent. Inside, a woman's skeleton and Rema's long-lost mobile phone. And that's when the volcano buried for 5 years started to erupt. When a corpse speaks, the beginning of truth's unveiling. That bag found after 5 years was like opening a cursed box. Police investigation confirmed the skeleton inside the bag was Rema's. Anik was numb. He couldn't cry, couldn't scream. It was as if he was alive, but dead inside. Only one question in his eyes. Who did this to Rema? Why? The phone was sent to the forensic lab. Though it was old, some of the data was recovered. The last recorded voice message on the phone was Rema's, her voice trembling with fear and tears. Anik, if I survive, I'll have coffee with you again. But if I don't come back, then know this. Those who came between us, they will kill me. Hearing this recording, Anik's body trembled. He didn't know who Rema was referring to. But one thing became clear. This wasn't an accident. This was a cold-blooded murder. The police began their investigation. First, they found Rema's diary. In the last few pages, there were some names mentioned. Roni, Abihi, Nafis, all known to Anik, his college friends. But Anik had no idea Rema was in contact with them. The interrogations began. Ronnie said, Bro, I never even went near Rema. It was actually she who talked to me for a while. If Anik found out, he would have gone crazy. Abiya, he said. Rema asked me for a loan. I gave it to her. Where she went after that, I don't know. But the most bizarre behavior came from Nafis. He didn't say anything. Just gave a cold smile and said, if everyone knew everything, the story would lose its fun. Anik bye. That smile set Anik's blood on fire. He realized this murder wasn't just an incident. It was a plan. A trap where Rema went searching for love and returned as a corpse. In that moment, a new person was born inside Anik. Silent, vengeful. A hunter hiding in the dark. He decided, if the law cannot give justice, then he himself would become the justice. When a lover becomes a hunter, the night was deep, the city was silent, but inside Anik's mind a storm was raging. He stood in front of the mirror. There was no fear in his eyes, only a vow. Once those eyes were filled with love for Rayma. Now they held only one image, the voice message from Rayma's lost phone. If I don't come back, they will kill me. Anik had realized the police would never uncover the truth behind this murder. They were following rules. But this crime, this betrayal cannot be judged by rules. They must be judged with fire, with blood. First target, Nafis. Nafis, the one who had said, if everyone knew, the story wouldn't be fun about Rayma's death. One day, Anik suddenly appeared outside Nafis' office. Shirt, tie, you wouldn't be able to tell this boy was about to confront a murderer today. Anik said, come on, let's have some tea. It's been a while since we talked. Nafis was surprised at first but agreed. They walked to an empty spot where no one was around. Anik said, do you know, I don't sleep at night anymore. I stay awake listening to Rayma's voice. Nafis replied, bro, what's the point of remembering all that now? What's done is done. Anik stopped, lowered his head and said, you're right, what's done is done, but now what's going to happen, I will make it happen. A punch, then another. Nafis collapsed to the ground. Anik pinned his knee to his throat. Nafis screamed, bro, I didn't kill her. Anik roared, then who did? Who are you protecting? Nafis started crying. He said, I didn't do anything, bro. But Abihi, he was with Rayma that night. I didn't know either. Then he threatened me. Said if I said anything, he'd make me disappear too. Anik realized Abihi was the first name on the list of murderers. Now Anik wouldn't stop. He told the police nothing about Nafis. Just said, you're still alive because you gave me his name. And Abihi, I'll deliver his justice myself. This story is no longer about love. This is a tale of revenge, a vow written in the blood of a lover, face to face when truth says, I'm still alive. Abihi, once a friend to Anik, now the only source of his burning pain. The mystery of Rayma's death now clearly pointed to Abihi. Anik decided, this time it must be face to face. No more questions, now he wanted answers. Answers written in blood. That afternoon, Anik waited outside Abi's office, wearing a black hoodie, sunglasses like a shadow of the dark itself. Abihi came out of the office, laughing, chatting on the phone. Suddenly, from behind, Anik called out, Abihi. Abihi turned around, face frozen. You? Yes, me, your old friend. We had a small score to settle, remember? Abihi laughed and said, look, bro, I don't know anything about Rayma. You're accusing me for no reason. But this time, Anik didn't stop at words. With one swift move, he dragged him down to the parking area, the CCTV blind spot. He had scoped it out in advance. Punches, kicks, screams, and fear etched on Abi's face. For the first time, that shameless face showed fear. Anik roared, what did Rayma want from you? What happened that night? Abihi, voice trembling, said, she wanted to leave me. I didn't want that. I just wanted to scare her. But she was screaming. I covered her mouth. She couldn't breathe. Silence. Then Abihi said, I didn't mean to kill her, bro. When she went quiet, I got scared. Then I called Ronnie and Nafis. The three of us stuffed her into a bag, then dumped her near the lake. I didn't even know if she was dead, bro. I don't know. Anik's hands were trembling. Tears welled up in his eyes, but those tears were boiling, like blood. He grabbed Abi's collar and said, you didn't know? She died because of your fear. And all of you dumped her body. You didn't know she was my life. One punch. Abi dropped to the ground. Anik now made up his mind. None of them would escape through loopholes in the law. But the justice he was about to deliver, it wouldn't just punish, it would make their souls weep. Now begins Anik's game calculated cold-blooded revenge. This time the judgment won't come through fear, it'll come through darkness. When the hunter becomes the hunted, Rayma's voice still echoed her final cry for help. Anik was no longer just a grieving lover. He had become a bloodthirsty judge. And in his court, there were no laws, only punishment. 1 a.m. Anik stood outside Abi's house. His eyes held a cold fire. In his hand, an old letter, handwritten by Rayma. The last line read, "Because of you, Anik, I've learned how to live. But if I don't survive, avenge me." Anik took out his phone. He called Abi's guard from an unknown number, luring him outside. As soon as the gate opened, Anik pulled up his hoodie to cover his face. One punch, then another. The guard fell, unconscious. Anik slipped into the house. Abi was asleep. When he opened his eyes, standing next to his bed was the man whose lover he had murdered. Anik spoke in a cold, steady voice. "Thought it was over? This is just the beginning, Abi. You won't die tonight. Tonight, I'll destroy you from the inside out." He strapped a small camera onto Abi's head, turned on another to record himself. Then Anik said, "From today, you'll confess the truth on camera. Every day, you'll tell the world how you killed Rayma. And those videos, they'll be uploaded to my YouTube channel. You versus you. You'll dig your own grave with your own voice." Abi began to cry. Fear, humiliation, shame. He looked for a place to hide. But Anik whispered, "This game has just begun. Tomorrow your name will be Murderer Abi. Then comes Roni, then Nafis. They'll all suffer the same fate." The next morning, a video goes viral. "I killed Rayma, the confession of murderer Abi." The world gasps. The media explodes. Police arrest Abi, but his spirit had already broken under the weight of truth. That night, a small note slid under Anik's door. It read, "The people you're looking for? They thought both of you were just toys. You think you're the one playing the game? You're the real prey now? R. Ronnie? Or someone bigger? Was Rayma's murder really just Abi's doing? Or was there a darker organization hiding in the shadows?" Anik didn't stop, but now he knew this wasn't just about revenge anymore. It was war. And he was both the hunter and the hunted. Behind the mask, the puppet master. No one really knew who he was. Roni, once one of Anik's closest friends from college. Always smiling, laid back. But behind those eyes was a darkness no one ever noticed. Now in the note Roni sent was a chilling message. "You think you're playing the game? You're the prey now." Anik realized the terrifying truth. Roni wasn't just involved. He was the mastermind. Abi was just a pawn. Nafis a scared little puppet. But Roni, he was the hand pulling the strings for 5 years. The next day, Anik went to an old secret spot near his university, a place Roni used to visit, claiming to write poetry. But Anik knew it was a place of secrets and shady deals. There, an old caretaker recognized him. "You're Anik, right? That boy's friend?" "Yes. Did you know Roni?" The old man nodded slowly. "He used to come here with a girl, Rayma. But one day, she ran out crying. There was terror in her eyes, blood on her lips." Anik's legs trembled. He knew now, Roni hadn't just been involved in Rayma's murder. He had tormented her, threatened her, blackmailed her, maybe for months. Anik logged into Rayma's old email account. He still remembered the password. In the drafts, he found an unsent letter. The subject line: "If anything happens to me, please give this to Anik." Inside it read, "Roni has videos. He threatens me. Says if I tell Anik, he'll kill him. I don't know who to trust anymore. Even Abi and Nafis support him. If I disappear, know this, Roni was behind everything." Now Anik felt no grief. There were no tears left, only fire. Roni hadn't just killed Rayma. He had destroyed Anik's faith, his love, his life. This war would now follow one rule only: justice for blood, paid in blood. Just before Anik makes a call. "Anik, you were right, Roni. I'm not playing the game." "You were. But now I'm going to end it. Roni laughs from the other end, then says, "What you don't know is, Rayma never died." Anik froze. The phone trembled in his hand. One word escaped his mouth. "What did you say? Come back, if you're still alive." On the other end of the phone, Ronnie's cold voice echoed, "Rayma, she's not dead." A deep silence. Anik froze. His head spun. His hands trembled. Everything he believed for the last 5 years. Was it all a lie? He screamed into the phone. "What the hell are you saying, Ronnie? Speak clearly. Is she alive? Where is she?" Ronnie chuckled. "If you want answers, come alone. Tomorrow night, 3 a.m., the basement of the old mill factory. A surprise is waiting for you." The line went dead. And Anik? He knew this was the final call. There was no turning back. 3 a.m. The old mill factory stood like a haunted relic, broken, silent, dead. Crows flapped somewhere in the shadows, and the air stank of rot and death. Anik stepped into the basement. There it was, a small room, locked, surrounded by cameras. At the center, a single chair. And in that chair sat Rayma. Yes, Rayma was alive. But she didn't speak. Her eyes brimmed with tears. Her face wore the silence of someone who had forgotten how to scream. Anik ran forward, shouted, "Rayma!" She looked at him, slowly. Her voice came like a broken melody. "Why did you come, Anik? You could have forgotten me. You could have lived in peace." Anik's voice cracked. "I couldn't live in peace, Rayma, because you were everything to me. When you died, I died every day after." Rayma broke down in tears. She whispered, "They didn't kill me, Anik. They erased me. 5 years ago, the day I rejected Abiyehi, Ronnie spread a fake scandal video in my name. Then, Ronnie and his men kidnapped me, locked me here. Abishai tried to strangle me. And Ronnie slit my wrist so I could never write again. So that my voice would never rise again." Anik stood frozen. Inside him, a volcano erupted. He knew now this wasn't about revenge anymore. This was a war for existence. Suddenly clapping. Ronnie emerged from the shadows, smirking, gun in hand, eyes gleaming with arrogance. "Well, like your surprise? Everything you thought you knew was my game. Now you both die here. In this city, it'll never know the truth." But Anik was no longer a broken lover. He was now a warrior forged in blood. He lunged at Ronnie. A brutal fight began. Punches, screams, blood. 2 men, 1 more. At last the gun fell from Ronnie's hand. Anik grabbed it, aimed. Ronnie, panting, said, "If you kill me, you'll die too. I'm not just a killer. I am the system." Anik replied, "You're not a system. You're a virus. And tonight, the virus dies." He pulled the trigger. 1 bullet. Ronnie's chest exploded, and justice bled into the floor. But Anik and Rayma weren't safe yet. This house of death was just the beginning. Behind them, still more darkness, more secrets. Their fight for survival had only just begun. Episode 8. No more running. The final war begins. Ronnie's lifeless body lay on the floor. His blood slowly seeped into the concrete. Time itself seemed to pause. Anik looked at himself. He was no longer the man he once was. No longer a lover. He was now a wounded soldier. Rayma cried silently beside him. He held her close and whispered, "You came back to me, and I won't lose you again." But there was no time for emotions. Footsteps echoed from above. Rieni wasn't alone. Behind him was a secret network, masked men who ran crimes like blackmail, abduction, silencing, with Rieni as their frontman. Anik whispered, "Rayma, we have to go, now. They know Ronnie's dead. They'll come." They searched and found a hidden tunnel behind the basement. Ronnie had probably used it as an escape route. They crawled through the darkness, emerging into the city's abandoned drainage system. No light, no hope. Just Onyx's hand holding Rayma's. And in that dark, they searched for light. The city was already on fire. News of Ronnie's death had reached the underground network. Pressure was mounting on the police, but even they knew to break this system, they'd have to tear down politicians, media moguls, entire empires. Anik and Rayma hid in an old two-story building, and there they began crafting the final blow. A video documentary where Rayma would tell the world everything. How Ronnie and his group imprisoned her. How Abihi and Nafis were used as pawns in a game of fear and money. How Anik chased the truth and came to save her. This video would be their explosion. This time the war would be face-to-face. Their plan? Upload the video to 100 online platforms simultaneously so no one could suppress it. If the truth spread far enough, the system couldn't hide anymore. But just as Anik hit upload, he saw it. Their location had been tracked. Someone was knocking at the door. Rayma panicked. Anik said, "You upload the video. I'll hold the door." He opened it. A masked man fired a shot straight into his leg. Anik collapsed, but at that exact moment, the video went live. Rayma screamed, "Anik, you did it! The video's out! Their masks are off!" Anik smiled through the pain. Lying on the blood-stained floor, he whispered, "Now, you are the truth. You are free." Masked men stormed inside, but the screen cut to black. And then YouTube autoplayed the video title. My story, I wasn't dead, I was killed. When truth goes viral, the system crumbles. 8 a.m. People across the country wake up to just one video. My story, I wasn't dead, I was silenced. Rayma's voice. Anik's captured proof. A full revelation of how Ronnie, Abihi, and Nafis had built a dark empire, where love was imprisoned, and women were held hostage by fear and blackmail. The video had names, photos, chat logs, voice recordings, undeniable evidence. The nation was shaken. At first, shock, then rage. Breaking news. College scandal exposed. Masks fall off the powerful. Abhi and Nafis, once brand ambassadors of top companies, began to run. But Ronnie's death stopped that escape. Because now, an investigation began. This wasn't just a love story anymore. It had become a revolution. Meanwhile, Anik, he lay unconscious on the blood-soaked floor of the old house, a bullet in his chest. No one knew if he was alive. Rayma held his hand and cried, screaming, "Please, someone help! Save him!" Just then, an old beggar walking past heard the cries. He mustered the courage to push open the door and saw a boy drenched in blood, barely breathing. That old man? None other than Marubi Mama, the former college guard. A silent witness to Ronnie's crimes, once too afraid to speak. But guilt brought him here. Right on time, Anik was rushed to the hospital. Doctors fought day and night to save him. In the hospital corridor, Rayma prayed, "If Anik dies, then even if I win this war, I've lost everything." 72 hours later, the doctor came out and said, "You're lucky, Rayma. He came back. His story isn't over yet." That very night, students across the nation held candlelight marches. They shouted, "Love and courage can't be killed. You versus you, we are Anik." The people knew. It was time to rise. Everyone had been a Rayma or an Anik once. No more fear. Rayma posted a new video. "This isn't just a story, this is my real life. And Anik, he's the boy who valued my justice more than his own life." Her eyes were full of tears, but her lips held the smile of victory. You versus you, the last drop of blood, the first sunrise, February 25th, exactly 5 years since Rayma disappeared. And now, on this same day, the court proceedings began. Crowds gathered, live media coverage, social media trending, #justice for Rayma, #where Anik, Hash you vs you. Abihi, Nafis, and the powerful masked allies of Roni now stood in the courtroom dock. No more loud voices. No more confident stares, because the people weren't silent anymore. Anek entered the courtroom in a wheelchair, his legs still bandaged, but fire in his eyes. The judge asked, "Would you like to say something?" Anek stood. Silence fell. Cameras rolled. He spoke. "I'm not a superhero. I'm just a man who fought for love and for truth. They tried to kill Rema because she said no. They tried to silence me because I asked questions. But what they never understood is, this fight is you versus you. If you can defeat your own fear, then no one else can defeat you." The courtroom erupted in thunderous applause. The judge declared, "Abhi, Nafis, and Roni's allies, guilty, life imprisonment." The investigation uncovered the faces behind many political masks. The rot ran deep, but now it was exposed. After that, Anik and Rema created a foundation, You versus You Foundation, a mission for broken youth, the unheard voices, the scarred hearts, the frightened souls. They visited schools, colleges, and spoke. If love doesn't come with respect, it's not love. If fear rules your mind, your life belongs to someone else. But if you conquer yourself, the whole world will kneel before your courage. The story ends. But the war still goes on every single day, inside every soul. You versus you. Fear versus courage. Lies versus truth. If your inner you can win, then the world will change.